Alright, a couple things before we get into today's video, alright? Just hold on a second. A, I usually don't talk about this stuff, and usually I try to avoid talking about this stuff because I know how it feels being part of an underground indie game. Trust me, I like Leica, I like Bo, I know the feeling, but also this game is fucking ridiculous. B, this is not an attack on the indie game studio, I just think this game is dog shit and someone needs to talk about it, because every time someone criticizes the game, the community floods them with negativity and toxicity, and they treat it like a new age religion. And finally, C, I have a lot of experience with indie games, roguelites, and others of the sort. I play, like I said, I play Leica, Dead Cells, Risk of Rain, all of them, Hollow Knight, that sort of stuff. I know what I'm talking about when it comes to indie games. I do have a few indie games that, well, not indie games, a few games that aren't indie games, but I know what I'm talking about. And I feel like I have a pretty good amount of knowledge to be talking about this game. So, without further ado, let's talk about fucking Rataton. Yay. Rataton is a roguelite indie game that I discovered while just minding my own fucking business, and then my eyes and ears were assaulted by the sounds and visuals this horrible game produces. It was like getting a lobotomy. If you ever wanted to live life as Helen Keller, play this game for 8 hours and tell me if you can write a book. You probably asked me to go to bed because your frontal lobe has been removed. Now you might think, wow, that is really critical of a game you haven't even told us about yet. And you're right. You are absolutely right, because this is appalling how bad this game is. I'm gonna go into like all the details. Like, I'm gonna start with character design. I'm gonna start with like the music. Well, not start with the music, I'll do that after the character designs. I'm gonna talk about the gameplay, the development, and what I think about the game, because come on. If you look at the Steam review page, every time someone leaves a negative review, whether it's valid or not, you always have this swarm of cultists trying to defend this game like it's some kind of vehement, like I said, new age religion. It's really weird. And when you look at this, you're gonna be thinking, what the fuck? That's what I thought. Listen, I don't mean to belabor the point. I'm sorry if it sounds like I am, but I really just gotta tell you, I'm probably gonna get some hate for making this video, and that's okay. That's all right. It's bad. It is bad. Okay, so starting out with the character design of the main characters, because we have a lot of characters to talk about. They look they look pretty good. I can tell what kind of aesthetic they're going for. Like, they're trying to go for like a ragdoll sort of aesthetic. They kind of look like little figurines a little bit. You know what I'm talking about? Like Raggedy Andy. You know what I mean? They kind of look like mismatched. They got like patches on them. It doesn't look terrible. It just looks obnoxious. Now, something you're going to encounter a lot with this game, I forgot to mention this a couple of seconds ago, is that this game is obnoxious, not chaotic. Now you might be thinking, what's the difference? Well, when it comes to roguelites, you really got to get a couple things straight. You got to get the gameplay, you got to get the visuals, and you got to get the music right. And see, the thing is, when a game like Risk of Rain is around, it's chaotic and it's fun. That's part of why it's fun, because it's chaotic. This game is chaotic in the sense that it's obnoxious. It's not fun, it's annoying, it's nauseating. It's the best way to say it. And when you put the character designs on the backdrop of every single world that is in this game, because there's stages, of course, you're going to be thinking the same thing. Now, as for the character designs themselves, I'm going to pull up, I don't know, this one. This rock and roll Elvis looking one. The reason I say Elvis is because I think that's what it's kind of inspired by. I really don't know what else to call it. Apparently this game is based off of sea shanties. Now, I can kind of see that with the jacket, and I can kind of see that with the eye patch, aesthetic. They all have eye patches. But, guess what this character is called? Just go ahead. Anything. Okay. This character is called Horigaton. Okay. And you might think, wow, that's a really unique name. And I would agree with you, usually. But then I figured out that this game was made by, people from Japan. And I was like, well, I wonder what this means in Japanese. And it just means, like, hedgehog. Hedgehog? Porcupine? Something like that. It's an animal, basically. I don't remember. I know the owl is named. I don't know why I picked this one. But still. That's basically like making a D&D NPC who is a bard Aerococra and then calling it like Music Beak Wing Song. We're on shitty D&D character NPC level of naming. And usually naming isn't such a bad thing, but come the fuck on. Alright, come on. Now, it's not a terrible thing. It's not. But you gotta remember, you control this game's music by singing and playing your instrument and actually doing stuff and, you know, interacting with your guys. You gotta command them by playing music. It's kind of like Patapon. It's made by the same people who made Patapon, but we're gonna get into that later. Now, what do you think this character sounds like? I'll give you a second. Maybe a little like Elvis. Maybe they have like a deeper voice, maybe a higher voice, because, you know, they kind of look like a rock and roll metal aesthetic. Maybe you like Michael Jackson. That's a wild one. I know he's pretty popular over there. Okay, whatever you guessed is wrong. This is what they sound like. And it's not just this one. They all sound completely mismatched. Well, except for one. It's the cat. The cat at least sounds normal. Their voice really matches their design. I think that's pretty fitting. It's still really fucking annoying. But I think for the cat character, it's less of the voice being annoying than the music being annoying. You know what I mean? It's like, no, it's just constant noise. And I know you're probably thinking, you're giving this game a little too much of a bad rap. I'm going to play this music for you later. I don't have it in the background of this video because I know the retention rate is going to drop like a motherfucker. But there's another group of Rattotons. These are called Rattotons, by the way. They're called Dark Rattotons. Now, I'm not trying to say I'm an edgelord, but I'm kind of saying I'm an edgelord because these designs look so much better. Not only do they look so much better, their voices match. I'm almost convinced they were designed by someone else. I know they were designed by the same person. But their names are even better too. We got this skunk guy. What do you think he's called? Like Skunk Man? You know, Japanese or whatever skunk is. He's called Skapunk. He's like a punk skunk. He's really cool. They're all really cool. And I think that these guys should have been the main characters because the main characters just suck. They look obnoxious. They sound obnoxious, and they're just, honestly, they just kind of blend in with the, again, obnoxious background, nauseating. But these guys with their darker, kind of warmer, cooler color aesthetic, they can really stand out, and they actually sound right. I can understand why people want to unlock these things as fast as possible, because I wouldn't want to hear da-da-da-da-da-da-da constantly either. I mean, fucking come on, really? I don't know if this game is aimed at kids or something, but every time I look at this game, it's like some Disney adult level of people. I don't know. I'm shitting on the community now. We're gonna talk about the fucking music. Okay. I'm gonna play a song. Alright, it's from the game. It's a Rattoton OST, I know. Everyone's putting their hands together, giving an applause for ta-ta-ta, whatever the bullshit. Now listen. I gauged this song off of myself and my friends. And I found the median at some point of when people started getting really annoyed by it. So I'm going to take that median, like the medium, the mode, whatever the fuck it's called, the middle, like the middle of all the different stats we got. And I'm going to play the song until that point. I'm just going to blend it into another song to save your eardrums. Because if it's at the point that I get annoyed, I imagine it's at the point that you guys are going to get annoyed. And yeah, I don't blame you. I will do my best to try and figure out when that is, but here we go. Yay. Forgive me for interrupting Peak. I know, I'm sorry. How could I ever sleep at night? But the thing is, the song that I played from Redaton is considered like the best OST. Like, it is considered the cream of the crop. It's considered like, you know, I don't know, sweet ranch mashed potatoes. It's really what the community considers the best. And I know what you're thinking. If that's the best, yeah, don't touch this game. But like I said, this game's music plays constantly and always, and you have to control it. So not only do you have to hear that shit, you also have to hear rat-tat-tat bullshit all of the fucking time. Like, I'm not trying to like overly shit on the game, but it's really hard to praise the game when it can't get the one thing right that it says it's trying to get right. This rhythm game was made by the same people who made Patapon. Patapon, while I did play them and they weren't my favorite game because the best indie game on the PlayStation at the time was Journey, they were still really good and the music was at least decent. I didn't feel like I was going to rip my own eyeballs out looking at it. I feel like my brain wasn't going to fall out of my head. But the thing is about Redaton is that I don't know how they not only messed up the music, they've messed up coding it. And I'm gonna get into that right now. I just realized that I got to this point of the video without explaining what the gameplay actually is. I'm sorry, that's my fault. I will keep that in the video because I have no problem admitting that I made a mistake. But again, the gameplay goes a little something like this. You play music to command these little guys. They're called like, I don't remember what they're called. They're little guys, okay? And your music that you play constantly is how you control them and how you command them to attack, to defend, to run away, that sort of stuff. Keep them alive as best as you can. You know, die for your country. Hail King summoning like 50 million of the Hollow Nest's greatest patriots to defend his image type shit. But you also gather items, like Risk of Rain 2, or Call to the Lamb, or Dead Cells. It's the roguelike mechanic. Everyone does it, okay? And what do you think these items do? Okay? Status conditions. They can do effects. That's really cool. I actually like that. I like having variety. That's why I like Spiritfall. Now, let me ask you this. Do you think the people who made Patapon are going to struggle with a little bit of game design? You might be thinking, okay, well, a little bit. It's an indie game, right? Yeah, you're right. But they have quite a bit of experience. Now think of Bethesda. Every time Bethesda tries to fix a bug, it spawns like 10 other bugs. That is Redaton's development. I read the fucking patch notes. Apparently how this went is, and this is still happening by the way, how this started was they had a bug with one of the status conditions, I guess most of them, it was like freeze or something, or it was like really broken. They tried to fix it. Okay, well now another status condition and another effect is really broken because something in the code for that was changed in the process of changing that. And think that like 7,000 times. Not 7,000, that's a big exaggeration, but more than 10. Every time they go to fix something, something else breaks. Now, I know this is early access. I'm not stupid, I can read it on the wall. But Palworld, again, has had a little bit less time for, well, that's a terrible way to start that. No, what I mean to say is that the developers have less experience. I don't know why I said time. I'm getting mixed up. I'm sorry. But the thing is, with Palworld's development is that when they have a bug and they fix it, it tends to usually stay that way. These are like developers who haven't had as much experience as the Patapon people have. However, when it comes to Redaton, you can't be certain. Whenever one bug gets fixed, 10,000 more spawn. Again, big exaggeration. But it happens. There's a lot of like really game-changing bugs, game-changing breaks. And again, I know it's an early access, but how do we do this every single fucking time? Every single time. You people have made games before. Why is it where you fix one thing, another thing breaks? At this point, just make all the status conditions broken and just buff up all the enemies. Don't do that. I know that's not what you're going for. But if you do that, then I'm pretty sure everyone else is just going to see the game for what it is, a broken mess. So, with all that out of the way, what else really is there to talk about? So, what is my thesis on Redditon? Do I think that it's salvageable? Personally, if you ask me, no. And you might think that's really cruel, but come on. When you have development like this, and they keep adding more without trying to prioritize fixes, and again, the music and the characters and the voices are all just cooked from the start, I don't know. You probably should go try making something else. Try to, like, spread out a little bit. I'm no game designer yet. I don't even have the ability to develop a game yet. I've been writing the story for my game. I've been designing characters in my game. I know designing a character is really hard. But I also know that if you add too much, it's really cluttered, really visually noisy. Visually noisy? Yeah, sorry. And I'm not saying the developers are bad at their jobs, but I am saying the developers are bad at their jobs. How do you do this? How do you mess up that bad? And the fan base is also, again, religious zealots for this game. And this game is just not worth it, if you ask me. It's a $25 game. You know what you can get for $25? Risk of Rain 2. And let me tell you, Risk of Rain 2 will give you 1,000 times more joy than Redditon. And you might be thinking, well, that game's been out longer. It's still a roguelike. I did my best in this video to try to make comparisons only to roguelites in that price range. You have so many other options. And Redditon, with its competition, is just cooked. Because it can't even get the audio... I'm getting lost in my words. Auditorial... something. What am I talking about? The music. Fuck. It's a rhythm game. That's what I'm trying to say. It can't get its own rhythm right. It can't get its own aesthetic, its style right. It's just when you're in the water with Cult of the Lamb, Dead Cells, Risk of Rain 2, I'm sure plenty of other roguelike indie games, fuck, Spiritfall, you're just lost in the water. I'm sorry. I know Spiritfall doesn't have the best music in the world, but it's not a fucking rhythm game now, is it? I made this video because I thought this game was fucking appalling, and I thought the community was even crazier for, like, trying to goon to the rabbit for some reason. At least have some fucking class. Ladies and gentlemen, hope I have yourselves a good day. I'm gonna go and never see this game again, hopefully.